Hi guys! Today we're going to start our third module of getting ready for 7th grade, and this is going to be expanding on what we learned about ratios and rates in 6th grade. So this is going to be about rates. I'm going to take it a little differently than what's done in this lesson just because I don't really love using the charts. If you like using the tables or charts, you can absolutely use it, but I'm going to show you how I do it. It's how I'm going to be doing it when I teach it to you next year, so I may as well give you the intro, right? So if you recall, how did we find a unit rate during the year? Let's say, before we start, let's say I told you that you can get, what am I trying to say? You can pay $4 for 2 CDs, okay? You guys don't even know what CDs are anymore, probably. $4 for 2 CDs, and I wanted you to find the unit rate. That means you need to find how much 1 CD costs, right? So what we did this past year was we wrote this as a fraction, and then we reduced it so that the denominator was equal to 1. So what we did was we basically divided the top and the bottom by the denominator so that we could reduce this, and we would get $2 for 1 CD, right? So this is the same thing now, except we're going to be dealing with nasty numbers, basically. Okay, so let's look at the Explore activity, and I'll show you what you could do with this, but I'm also going to just show you my way. So Amber rows 1/4 of a mile every 20 minutes, which is 1/3 of an hour. Okay, so Orlando rows 6 miles in 9 hours. How far do they each row in 1 hour? So basically you just are finding the unit rate for each of these. So while you can use a table, I'm just going to show you how I do it. So I'm going to go to Amber here, and I know she rows 1/4 of a mile in 1/3 of an hour. Okay, so now this is going to seem really crazy, but if I follow the same pattern that I used up here, to get the denominator equal to 1, you just divide by that number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the top and the bottom both by 1/3. That gives me 1. I have to do 1/4 divided by 1/3. Now in order to do that, I have to use keep, change, flip. So I'm just going to write it out over here. 1/4 divided by 1/3. So that's keep, change, flip. So I keep the 1/4, change the division to multiplication, and I flip my 1/3 to 3/1. And then you just go straight across. 1 times 3 is 3, and 4 times 1 is 4. So Amber rows 3/4 of a mile in an hour. Okay, so now I know that's how much Amber rows. You know what, instead of boxing that, I'm going to just write it like down here. So hold on. Amber, she rows 3/4 of a mile per 1 hour. Okay, so that's Amber. And now I'm just going to do the same thing for Orlando. His is going to be easier because it's just whole numbers, 6 miles in 9 hours. So I'm going to write it over here. Orlando, he rows 6 miles in 9 hours. Same thing. I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by the denominator because I want this equal to 1, right? So I'm going to divide by 9. That's going to give me the 1 hour in the bottom that I need. And now I have to just see 6 divided by 9, which is not reduced, so I'm going to simplify that. I can divide 6 and 9 both by 3, and that gives me 2/3 of a mile in 1 hour. So Orlando rows 2/3 of a mile in 1 hour. And that's how I would do it, and that's how I will be teaching you. Okay? So that's it. You can use this if you'd like. Okay, you can. I prefer this way because you can't always make a table every single time, so it's better to just get used to doing it this way. And it's also good to understand what it is that you're doing. Getting the 1 in the denominator representing that you're finding 1 unit, the unit for 1 hour. Okay, so for the your turn, They're asking you to complete the table, but you do not have to complete the table. We're going to use Miss Morano's method, okay? So Rory climbs 3.5 feet every 15 minutes, which is the same as a fourth of an hour. If you're ever given the units in minutes and you're supposed to be finding an hour, make sure you convert it into an hour. How far does he climb in 1 hour? So instead of completing the table, although you can if you'd like, I am going to do this the long way, which is 3.5 feet in 1/4 of an hour. So I need to get 1 in the denominator, so I'm going to divide by whatever's in the denominator, which is 1/4. Okay, that's going to give me my 1 hour here, and now I'm going to divide by 1/4 in the top. Okay, sorry, I just had to go help Drew real quick. So in the top here, we're going to divide 3 1/2 by 1/4. So I'm going to take it down here. And always when we divide, we want to change our mixed numbers into improper fractions. So we do 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 1, which is 7. So we really have 7/2 divided by 1/4. So we're going to do keep, change, flip. We're going to keep 7/2, change the division to multiplication, and flip the 1/4 to 4/1. This gives us 7 times 4 is 28, over 2 times 1 is 2, and 28 divided by 2 is 14. So 14 feet in 1 hour is the answer. So he climbs 14 feet per hour. Okay? Now, if you're going to do this using the chart, if you prefer that, you can. I just want to make sure you guys are seeing this because this is the way we're going to be doing it. Only sometimes will you be able to use the chart. So if he's going 3.5 feet every 1/4 of an hour, you can set up the chart so that it's going by fourths. So you just keep on adding 3.5. So if he goes another 3.5 feet in half an hour, in another 1/4 of an hour, which gives you a half hour, then basically you're just adding the 3.5 here. So that's 6, and then a half and a half is 1 more, so that's 7. Okay, and then another 1/4 of an hour, you're adding another 3.5. So that's 10.5. And then another 1/4 of an hour, you're adding 3.5. So that's 13. And then 1 more is 14. Okay. So in this case, this is definitely the easier way. But I do want you guys to know this way as well because we are going to mostly be using this method next year. All right. So, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. So we're going to be doing the guided practice. First, Joaquin read 2,600 words in 8 minutes. First, we're going to identify the units. So we're looking for words per minute. Okay, so we're going to set it up as a fraction like I showed you guys before, 2,600 words in 8 minutes. And then we're going to simplify. So 2,600 words in 8 minutes. I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 8. Okay. And if you need to take it off to the side, go right ahead. Divided by 8. Okay. 8 goes into 26 3 times, so that's 24. Subtract, you get 2. Bring down the 0. And then 8 goes into 22 times, which is 16. Gives you 4, bring down the 0, and you get 5. Okay, no shame in going off to the side like that, guys. So 325 words in 1 minute. Okay, that one was okay because we had nice whole numbers, but now we're going to deal with fractions. Now, if you have a table already set up for you, feel free to use it. But as you can see in your homework, there's no table, so it's going to be up to you if you want to use a table. Okay, so I'm going to show you both ways. 6 miles in 1/5 of an hour. So that's 6 miles in 1/5 of an hour. I want it to be 1 hour. So to get 1, I need to divide 1/5 by 1/5. Right? So I do that to the top and the bottom. And I need to do 6 divided by 1/5. So I'm going to take it off to the side. Okay, keep, change, flippy. So that's 6 times 5/1. I flipped 1/5 to 5/1, but I don't need to write the 5/1. This is just 6 times 5, which is 30. So it's 30 miles in 1 hour. And you might be thinking, wait a second, why is it more instead of less? You have to be careful. This is 1/5 of an hour, so it should be more, right? We're looking for a whole hour. So it's 30 miles in an hour. So just to show you how you would use this table, everything's going up by a fifth. So 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and then 5/5 or 1, right? So you're just adding 6 each time. So this is 6. This one's going to be 12, 18, 24, 30. And that's how you would get your answer from the table. And again, in this case, it's much easier than doing it this way. Okay? So that's it for for today's lesson. For your homework today, I do highly suggest that you try it out my way, even though it is a little bit involved as far as the work goes. But you can, of course, set up a table if you'd like to. Okay, guys? All right. Have fun.